Hello, Degens. Welcome to Brofect Sports Talk. I, of course, am the Brofect one, AJ, here on this beautiful September 27th, 2022. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, however you're listening, however you're watching. Thank you so much. We do appreciate it if you like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Help us continue to grow, and we can keep doing what we're doing. You know what? Let's get right into it. It's been a great weekend of sports, obviously, with Monday Night Football last night. And one thing I really got to say about the primetime games lately, the NFL in week 3 really fucking tried us. They really tried us. And what do I mean by that exactly? Well, Thursday night was Steelers versus the Browns. All right, not a good game, not an exciting game by any means. Final score was 17-29, a little bit more high scoring than you would have expected, honestly. And then Sunday night, we get the 49ers and the Broncos, final score 10-11, and then the Cowboys, final score 23-16. But that score really doesn't do justice to how boring that game truly was. I mean, the Cowboys looking just completely lost at some aspects. Cooper Rush, he seems to be one of those guys that he's a game manager. Let's not try to cut any corners or anything like that. The guy is a game manager, which is fine. I don't think anyone needs to be worrying about that. Jacoby Brissett is doing an excellent job as a game manager. Tom Brady has won so many Super Bowls being what? Being a game manager. Being a game manager just means you're not going to lose the ball a lot and you're not going to make dumb decisions. And Cooper Rush is very good at not making dumb decisions, but he is one of those quarterbacks. He doesn't really hurt the team. He doesn't really help the team. Now, Cooper Rush is 3-0 in his starts now, has a backup coming in. He is the only quarterback to lead 3 fourth quarter and overtime victories in his first 3 starts in the NFL. I'm not saying that the Cowboys captured lightning in a bottle here with Cooper Rush. I'm not saying there should be a quarterback controversy, because even though Dak is not the best quarterback in the world, he's still better than Cooper Rush. Definitely could have made some of those throws yesterday, and definitely probably could have taken a little of the heat off the defense, especially against the Giants defense that just decided not to show up. Or if they did decide to show up, it was very unnoticeable. Almost. Now you're thinking, AJ, it was 23-16. It had to have been a defensive game. No, I really can't say it was a defensive game. I mean, if we want to be a little bit more optimistic about these two teams, sure, let's say it was a defensive game. But let's get real for a second here. All right, let's just get real for 1 second here. It wasn't. It was not a defensive game. This was just a sloppy game, left, right, and center. No one really got the upper hand at any point until the end when Dallas came away with a touchdown and a field goal. But really, the Giants looked like they could be in striking distance at any given time. Daniel Jones didn't have that bad of a game, if we're going to be completely honest. He went 20 for 37, 196 yards, 1 interception, no touchdowns, and a QBR of 41.6. I mean, yeah, not the best. Obviously, not the best. But, hey, when you're coming to Daniel Jones and your only real weapon is Saquon Barkley and Sterling Shepard gets injured late in the game, I mean, that's rough. We do hope Sterling Shepard gets okay. Thoughts and prayers out to him to get better. He has been dealing with so many injuries recently that it's hard to watch him stay injured. It really is. Now, one thing that's going to be asked and one thing that's going to be talked about regarding this game especially is, what if the Cowboys were healthy? What if the Cowboys were healthy? They've been dealing with a lot of injuries lately, not only on offense, on the offensive line, the defense. They've been dealing with injuries everywhere. But that doesn't help. The O-line, probably their least injured part of their offense, just looked miserable. Looked suspect as hell against a Giants team that wasn't trying to put a lot of pressure on, but still got the pressure there. And then the defense, just such a liability. Trayvon Diggs, supposed to be one of the best cornerbacks in the league, missed an easy interception yesterday, but also proved when he missed that interception why he is such a liability on the field. He will just go in and break on balls. He will not sit in that coverage. If he sees something, he will try to jump it, which isn't a bad thing. I'm not saying that's a bad thing to be aggressive, go and get the ball and everything, but when he missed that play, when he missed the ball, I mean, that allowed for another 10, not 10 yards, but it allowed for a significant gain that put the Giants at risk, put the Cowboys at risk for the Giants converting a 4th down. They ended up not. They ended up kicking the field goal, but It was just such a bad decision in that moment. He could have gotten the interception, but he didn't get the interception. And so that's what makes it that's what makes him a liability. He can't get those interceptions. Yeah, he had 11 last year, but he was also the most run on and had the most attention to him because these quarterbacks know he's going to try to jump on balls. And so if you can get at least one past him, you're going to be gone, and you're going to be gone for a long touchdown. Also, a late hit on Danny Dimes. Danny Dimes was running all game long, and we still get a late hit on him late in the game. Unnecessary, and it really put the Giants in a position to keep it moving. I mean, take that 15-yard run Daniel Dimes had, and then add another 15 on it. I mean, it was a 30-yard play right there. You can't have that. You just can't have it. CeeDee Lamb, though, still the best part of that offense. And I'm not saying that's a good thing. I'm really not, because there was one easy ball that probably would have made this game 30-16 that he just dropped. He just completely dropped the ball. No ifs, ands, or buts, went right through his hand. It was awful. Can't be doing that, especially if you're going to be the number one wide receiver. And yes, I understand it. AJ, they have so many injuries. Cool, but injuries can only be an excuse for so long. The Cowboys team should be at the point where they have depth on depth on depth. It should be next man up, but they never have been. Jerry Jones is too worried about signing the biggest stars to the biggest deals that they have no help if anyone gets injured. And that's what's been a curse of the Cowboys for a long time. I'm not saying Jerry Jones is a bad general manager. I'm just saying it's hard to keep a clear eyes and focus harder, whatever the hell Russell Wilson says, when you're trying to make these decisions when you own the team. It's hard. It is. But, Cowboys get it done. They're 2-1 now? Yeah, they're 2-1 now. The Giants 2-1, also getting their first loss. I mean, it's been crazy. It was a crazy game. I hope I don't have to watch it again. Please, God, no, that was miserable, but we'll see. We will see. What do we got Thursday night this week? Let's go ahead and take a quick look ahead. Got Dolphins, Bengals. That should be a banger. Bengals coming off their first win. Dolphins 3-0 for the first time in forever. Mike McDaniels seems to have figured it out in Miami. Tyreek Hill, Tua Tagovailoa, Jalen Waddle, that entire defense looking good, looking like a good machine. Should be a hell of a game. But talking with the Dolphins, we got to talk about something important. And that being Tua's concussion on Sunday, or lack thereof concussion on Sunday. I have heard everyone and their mom saying that's a concussion, he should be out. Okay, how do we know? I mean, seriously, I'm not a doctor by any means necessary. I never pretend to be a doctor. I'm a fucking degenerate that talks into a microphone. I'm not a doctor, but I've watched the NFL long enough to know if I see someone hit their head like that and they're a little woozy, more than likely in concussion protocol. Now, with that being said, it was late in the first half. He had this hit. He went to the locker room, was in there all of halftime and everything, comes out and starts the second half. So in order for everything to have gone, he would have had to pass the test. Whatever those tests are, whatever they may be, he had to pass it. And independent neurologists that are not associated with the team, had to clear him. And so in my opinion, first of all, independent neurologists have to approve him. That should be it. No ifs, ands, or buts at that point. We know that he is safe. He is good to go. All right? Next, Mike McDaniels. This is his third game as a head coach in the NFL. He has what is the Dolphins franchise quarterback at the helm, injured, possible concussion. You really think this early in the season, any head coach, I don't care if you have a hot seat or not, any head coach is going to walk up there and be like, hey, you're playing. I don't give a shit. You seem fine. We're throwing you out there, concussion or no concussion. It just doesn't happen anymore, especially with a younger coach. All right, because my generation, we have been growing up with all of these concussion reports coming out, how bad CTE is, the new protocols and everything. And first of all, the coach has no say whether he plays or not. All right, it's a training decision. It's a medical decision. So Mike McDaniels shouldn't take any heat for this at all. He was told by the independent neurologist, by the training staff, that he is good to go. And also, Mike McDaniels, he is such a player's coach. Every single time I've heard him get on a microphone, every single time I've heard him in an interview, he is a player's coach, and the players love him for it. And I don't see him risking that relationship with the locker room. Like I said, first season in, 3 games in. I don't see him wrecking that relationship just to get to a couple extra, just to maybe win the game. And now, don't get me wrong, a game you definitely wanted to win. You want to be undefeated for as long as possible. I mean, I'm not even going to mention the fact that this Dolphins team could pull off what the 71 Dolphins did all those years ago. That would be something else. The only franchise to go undefeated goes undefeated again. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm just putting it out there that there are some similarities that we're looking at here. They're looking good. Dolphins are looking good. Dolphins are looking good. I want to talk about that real quick. Let's talk about my 5 teams that I did not expect to perform as well. Number 5 being the Dolphins. I mean, I've been saying the Dolphins were going to be good all postseason, especially with the signing of Tyreek Hill. I love Jalen Waddle and what he does. I think Tua is a guy. Everyone wants to bash his arm strength and everything like that, and that he wasn't going to get Tyreek the ball. He doesn't seem to have a problem getting Tyreek the ball. Tyreek is great in the open field, so just hit him on a short slant, like I said, and that's what they've been doing. And they've been winning games. It's unbelievable what happens when you just surround a quarterback with good players, and this is what happens. And again, the Dolphins are still, have the luxury of having a rookie quarterback, being able to make those signings and everything. So we'll see if they can continue keeping those players on. But hey, no state income tax, Miami weather. I mean, it's hard for a player to turn that down. We might see a gold rush to Miami next season, like we saw with Tampa Bay when Tom Brady first moved there. I'm just saying. Next team my number 4 team has got to be the Texans. Now, before we say anything, yes, it might have been a fluke win last weekend. They might have a fluke win and a fluke tie and everything. They actually don't have a win, They might have a fluke tie. They might be 2-1. They might not be looking the best. But this Texans team under Lovie Smith is showing me a lot more than it ever showed me under any other coach that they've had so far. Davis freaking Mills. Davy Mills. The guy from Stanford who should have been the number 1 overall quarterback if he would have waited another year. He is playing out of his freaking mind. I mean, regardless of what you say about the Bills, the Texans, I think the Texans are in kind of the same spot the Jags were in last year. They just didn't have all the pieces there. They might be missing 1 or 2, but at least they have a head coach now. Lovie Smith is a solid head coach who will go in there and make the positive changes, and I think set up the culture this year. I think this is a culture setup year. Win, lose, or draw. Let's keep the culture and let's figure it out. My number 3 team that has probably surprised me the most this year is the Lions. Yeah, the Lions, the Hard Knocks Lions. I don't even know how to explain what they're doing. They're 1-2. All right, they don't have a winning record, but they have been in every single game they have played. 38-35 against the Eagles. They beat the Commanders 36-27. 28-24 against the Vikings. I mean, last year, we saw them play a lot of close games, and we're seeing a lot of the similar. They keep moving in the right direction, and I think that's the big point, especially 3 games in. This is not when you want to get hot. You don't want to be like the Cardinals last year and rip off 7 wins in a row and then go on an ultimate slide. You don't want to be that team. And so if the Lions can slowly continue to get this momentum and push through, boom. Boom. There you go. My number 2 surprising team might surprise everyone, that being the Broncos. Now, the Broncos are 2-1, and people might be thinking, AJ, how are you shocked with how successful they are? And I'm not shocked with how successful they are. I'm shocked with how bad these games have been. These have not been convincing wins by any means of the imagination. This is supposed to be let Russ cook, and we're letting Russ cook, and Russ ain't cooking shit. Well, actually, that is what he's cooking. He's cooking shit. He doesn't look good. He doesn't seem to have his teammates on the side when he was saying in that Week 2 game against the Texans, hey, we got to call run pass. Let him know, run pass. Let him know, run pass. And I have never seen a grown adult shaken off more by other grown adults. It was unfucking believable. And Russell Wilson, honestly, you may be put on notice because you ain't worth that 240 right now. You ain't worth what they re-signed you right now, man, and you're going to have to prove it, especially to that Broncos country, or else they ain't going to ride. No freaking shot. Now, the team that shocked me the most this year, and probably shouldn't have shocked me the most this year because I called it. I knew this was going to happen. They needed a competent head coach. They needed someone that was going to come in and really set the standard and not throw finger guns up the first girl's ass they see, and that being the Jacksonville Jaguars. This Jacksonville Jaguars team, having Travis Etienne back, first of all, from injury last year, makes all the difference in the world, opens up the run game for Trevor Lawrence. And then you watch Trevor Lawrence, like in that 24-0 victory against the Colts, or that 38-10 victory against the Chargers. He is on another freaking level. I mean, he came in as the number 1 overall draft pick for a reason. He has been a generational guy for reasons. He's been rumored to be the number 1 draft pick for reasons. He is unfreaking believable. Jacksonville Jaguars, the number 1 team that's shocking me this season so far. They're unbelievable. I really think if they don't make a playoff push this year, next year is going to be their year. I'm not saying they're winning the Super Bowl or anything like that, but they're setting up for a nice, a good run. A good run. I'm feeling really good about the Jacksonville Jaguars. I guess we also do have to talk about real quick some sadder news out of the NFL. Myles Garrett was in a one-car accident yesterday, flipping multiple times. He is responsive and was alert following the car crash, looking to be released hopefully later today or tomorrow. It was a rough crash. He was discharged from the hospital Monday night, so he seems to be okay. Thoughts and prayers, obviously, with Garrett. Hope everything stays good, brother. And yeah, that's rough. That was shocking and hard to hear. But hey, hopefully he's good and we can see him play this weekend. Now, just going to do a little MLB wrap-up while we wrap up this show here. Again, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe down below. Aaron Judge watch on the search for history. Still waiting for that last home run, number 61, and he's on a drought. He's been on about a 2-3 game drought ever since they put him up split screen on Saturday morning football for college football. Hasn't been able to get it done. Hopefully he can get it done tonight in Toronto when the Yankees take on the Blue Jays. We will keep an eye on that and hopefully talk about it tomorrow. But yeah, with that being said, we got 2 days before we got some more football going on. College and NFL this Thursday, college Friday and Saturday, and then NFL Sunday, Monday. We got all the football coming our way. Again, please make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the channel for all the latest bets, updates, everything. We cover everything here on the channel, so please like, share, and subscribe. Of course, hit the link tree down below. Follow us on socials. Check out the Degens store. And yeah, drop in the comments down below. Who are your top 5 teams that are absolutely shocking you so far this season? 3 games in. Go ahead and let me hear about it. Overreact all you want. With that being said, thank you so much for listening and watching. We'll be live again tomorrow morning. And yeah, we'll see you next time on Brofect Sports Talk.